everyone, Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me? Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum. Are you with me everyone? Selamat petang, River, Evelyn, Alicia, Eva, and there are only 4 of you here. Is it? Can you hear my voice? I mean, is this disturbing? Adakah bunyi kipas ni mengganggu? Kalau kamu rasa mengganggu, saya akan alihkan. Just tell me. Hello everyone. I'm okay. Thank you for asking. I'm good. How are you guys? How are you all doing? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling better? Hello everyone. Good to know you all virtually. I mean, at least we can chat here, isn't it? I really hope you all are doing well. So there are 27 of you is watching right now. Okay, I think we are ready to go. Shall we? Shall we start now? Waalaikumsalam, Asliana. So far so good, Eva said. Yeah, I really hope you all are doing well, taking care of your health very well. Okay, jaga diri baik-baik, kamu dah nak exam. Cumanya, exam kali ini belum tahu lagi macam mana bentuknya. Walaupun hari tu telah diberitahu, yeah, it's an online exam. I mean, online exam or you are going to be exam in tutorial tu sendiri, bilik tutorial tu sendiri, saya belum pasti yang tu. Yang pastinya adalah dia objective questions. It is 30 objective questions and for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, that is what I'm so sure about. It is a multiple choice questions, MCQ. Itu je yang saya paling sure, 30 soalan MCQ, ABCD for 1 jam and 30 minit. Cumanya pelaksanaan tu tak tahu lagi macam mana. Kamu ada soalan lain? If you want to ask me now. Ada apa-apa yang kamu curious? Anything that you want to ask me about? Or maybe we can start now. can just start. Okay, tak ada soalan dari semua orang. So I'm just going to start then. Miss, yang PSPM objective questions, do we need to pass? Do we need to pass what? Do we need to pass out solution on papers? Good question. It's a good question, Lim. I will get back to you. I believe you don't have to. Saya rasa tak perlu nak pass the solution back sebab dia bukan subjektif kan, dia objective question. Dan kalau betul lah kamu akan exam di bilik tutorial pun, di dewan ke or somewhere, I mean as long as face to face and it's MCQ, I believe MCQ hanya ABC sahaja. Jadi solution tu tidak perlu dihantar, setahu saya lah. Tapi tak tahulah, just in case if things change, so you just got to get ready lah. Okay, you have to get ready for your whatever possibilities that are going to happen. Okay, and this is the challenge of having an online test, right? Okay, maybe we can start now. Thank you for asking that question. Yeah, I'll get back to you all later. Okay, kalau saya ada updates yang baru, yang setakat yang kamu dengar semua ni hanyalah ura-ura sahaja. Okay, it hasn't been officially announced on how are we going to have an exam. Okay, itu je lah saya boleh cakap. Yang penting MCQ, that's all. Okay, now 34, let's start with 34. If a function y is equals to square root of 2x squared plus 5x minus 3, determine the domain of dy dx and find the respective intervals. We are going to find the intervals and then which this is happening. Okay, so first of all, let's just check. Let's just find its derivative. This is the first derivative. Okay, so we have to derive it only once. Dia yang minta. Okay, so dy by dx. Oh, first of all, I think you all should change the square root into a bracket to the power of 1 over 2. So 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 inside of the bracket. When you are going to differentiate it, you will apply the power rule. Okay, power rule. So you are going to apply the power rule. Remember, how is it work? Power rule adalah if you have function of fx with this kind, how do we write it? Hey, macam mana nak buat ni? Okay, sekejap ya. Let me recall back. So let's say you have this n function fx. So if you want to find y prime, you are going to bring the n minus 1. You are going to bring the n down, and you are going to copy back the function, and then you are going to times it with. No, before that, please remember that the power will be to the n to the power of negative 1. Okay, and then times it with its derivative inside of the bracket here. This derivative of f prime is coming from function f. Okay, so remember that you must copy and paste back. Copy, paste. Jangan tinggalkan yang ini, because many of you in my previous students kan, diorang selalu lupa bahagian ini. So I believe you all must be alert that you cannot neglect this part. Some of you kadang-kadang lupa nak tulis power, tolak satu, some things yang saya perlu emphasizekan supaya jangan lupa. Alright, so here is where I'm going to highlight this part first. because that is important to copy back. Okay, so now power kita bawa turun. Power is half, bawa turun, then copy back. So I'm just going to duplicate it. Okay, I'm going to copy back. So I'm duplicating here. Then the power will be minus by 1. 1/2 tolak 1/2 tolak 1, which is -1/2. Okay, and then remember to times inside of the bracket here. Okay, the derivative inside of the bracket is 4x plus 5. Kena darabkan dengan derivative, kena derivekan lagi dan darabkan dia. That's all. Okay, and then you simplify it. You will get 1/2 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 to the power of negative half. Yeah, I think I can bring this at the back, a little bit at the back, and here I like to copy it in front. Saya saja je susun supaya kamu nampak variety of jawapan, and then here you can still susun 4x plus 5 divided by 2 times 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 to the power of, everything is to the power of half. Okay, you know this thing already. You know how to apply and then simplify these things. Many of you dah berjaya. Saya percaya many of you can do this power rule very nicely, very good, and then they simplify this thing. They're good. They are doing well. The thing is, they might have a problem in finding the domain of the derivative here. Okay. So apa yang you perlu buat bila dia cakap pasal domain ataupun range, do you still remember? Kena recall balik chapter 5. If they are asking about domain, you have to recall chapter 5 yang mempunyai interval. Okay, domain mesti ada interval kan? So basically, domain ni ada pada Gola, chapter 5 Gola. Is it Gola? Is it chapter 5? Sekejap. Chapter 1 lah. Kenapa saya confident dengan chapter 5? Chapter 1, sorry. Gola adalah pada chapter 1. Am I right? Is it chapter 1 or chapter 2? I believe it's chapter 1. Chapter 2, chapter equations. Chapter 2, it's inequalities, right? Chapter 2 is inequalities, betul tak? Inequality lah. Okay, yang pentingnya dia adalah inequalities lah. Tak kisahlah chapter berapa. Saya pun dah lupa pula tiba-tiba. So it's about inequality. So in this case, soalan ni dia dah fokuskan kita kepada inequalities yang tak ada equal, you know. The things that we have to focus is whether it's more than ataupun less than. So there are only two inequalities that we should focus on, which is kita first. How do I write this? First, kita kena cari dy dx more than 0. Okay? Okay, more than 0. So And so, do you remember? Sekejap. Bagi saya recall balik. Yeah, domain is a chapter 5. Saya bercampur aduk dengan chapter 5 and 2. So the domain here is chapter 5. Yes, exactly, it's chapter 5. And we know that bawah ni tak boleh equal to 0. tapi dia boleh becoming more than zero. Dia boleh jadi more than zero. So we are going to do more than zero. Hang on, yeah? Let me write down nicely. So finding the domain, to find domain, to find the domain, to find the domain, you know, we always focus at denominator. Look at denominator. Look at the denominator. Sebab pada denominator is where we can find its domain. Okay, so what am I going to do right now is that I'm going to duplicate this. Look at the denominator and we are going to make it more than zero. Okay, so kita akan simplifykan dia. Kita akan dapat ini. When we simplify this, 0 divided by 2 is still 0. So yeah, I'll divide both sides with 2. And then yang ini saya, square both sides. And therefore hilanglah, tinggallah dalam ni sahaja. And therefore I can factorize it. I'll get 2x, x, 1 and times 3 is 6. And so that's the value of x that I'll get. So dekat sini kita kena ingat yang kita tengah mencari domain. Domain means got interval. Okay. Therefore kita tak boleh tinggalkan jawapan kita hanya nombor sahaja. The domain must have intervals. And so benda ni lah yang akan membantu kita. It's not about goal lah, is it? I'm fixing myself right now. Saya telah bercampur greater or. Yeah, greater or. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is a quadratic inequalities. This is a quadratic inequalities di mana kita perlu apply TOS, right? So we have to do a TOS here. Okay. So you gotta wait for me. I'm going to do the TOS, table of sign. Okay, so the first part here is the interval. And here goes what? Yang mana paling kecil? Negatif 3 paling kecil. Sini saya negatif. Ini 1/2. And so negative infinity until negative 3. Tutup bracket. Okay, kamu kan jangan lupa TOS And I am not going to explain it here. I'm just going fast right now. Okay, contoh X value, test value yang saya boleh masukkan adalah negative 4, 0 and 1. And so here gonna give us negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, positive. Therefore it's positive, negative, positive. So because of this is more than, you are going to choose positive sign. So hence this will be our answer. So our answer is, so basically our domain, no, domain nanti dulu lah. Basically the answer is negative infinity until negative 3, open bracket, or, okay, or, oh my god, it's not or, we should write union until 1 over 2 until positive infinity. So this is what we call as interval form. Kalau kita nak buat solution set, so solution set, the way we write it is x such that x is less than negative 3 or x is more than half. Alright, so this is the answer. Dalam jawapan tutorial book, you are given the answer this one, comma this one. Dia tak tulis macam saya tulis ni agak specific. What I'm writing here is quite specific, isn't it? Tapi ya, sebenarnya comma adalah bermaksud or. Okay, so you nak tulis comma boleh ataupun you tulis or. Yang penting jangan tulis and. Okay, so this is so this is the this thing is actually the domain. So this is your domain of of the first derivative. So now we are going to find the respective intervals in which sekarang kita nak cari the respective intervals in which it is more than 0 and also it is less than 0. Kita nak cari intervals yang lagi satu pula. Lagi dua intervals di mana derivative kita more than 0 dan lagi satu less than 0. Oh, I don't have space. Let me add paper. Yeah. Paste it here. Okay. So now let's find. Okay, kena copy balik benda ni lah. Indeed this one. Duplicate this, going down. Okay, I need the first derivative. Because by having the first derivative, I can now find more than 0. Ataupun another one is dy dx less than 0. So first of all, saya akan tunjuk pada kamu semua macam mana saya cari yang more than 0. Okay, so we have the answer, we have the interval yang bawah ni. Kita dah ada interval bawah ni. Interval bawah sini dah ada. Okay, dah ada. Cumanya yang interval atas ni belum. Okay, yang atas belum. Belum ada interval. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, if we want to find if dy by dx more than 0, we have to do number line. We have to do number line di mana. Okay, kamu tengok dulu apa saya buat Mungkin kamu sekarang belum faham. So, just look at what I'm doing first. So, what I have here, interval yang saya dah ada adalah ini. this is the intervals that I already have, which is -3 and half. So I'm going to put -3 and half over here. Okay, Miss, what is this? What is this then? This is actually a number coming from here. Ah, kita nak cari dy by dx more than zero. More than zero, kita tak boleh nak tengok bawah sahaja denominator. We cannot only look at denominator. We must take account bahagian numerator juga. Jadi this is you just must understand that 4x plus 5 is equal to 0. Let's say, this is just say, yeah? Alahai. This is just say. Let's say that it is equal to 0. And so your x is actually -5/4. Okay, -5/4 akan berada di tengah-tengah ni lah. Tengah-tengah apa? Tengah-tengah di antara nombor -3 dan juga half. If this number is in the middle, in the number line here, dia berada di tengah-tengah di antara -3 and half. Okay, just pick the number first. Just let me highlight this. So this is -3 and half. Okay, you are going to do number line di mana this is your interval. This is your initial interval. Going to the left and here going to the right. Okay? So now I'm going to use green color to describe that if this is going to the right. Sebab tadi kan kita dah ada jawapan untuk more than 0. Yang atas ni pun mestilah more than 0 because they are talking about everything is greater than 0. Betul tak? Jadi let's say if this is more than 0, so this is going to the right also. More than yelah, kalau sini more than 0, it means that this x will be more than -5/4, which means they are going to the right in the number line. Betul kan? So I'm going to use this green color going to the right because they say that it is greater than 0, means the graph is not the graph, the line will be to the right because of this sign. Okay, and therefore kalau kita tembungkan dia, kita akan dapat jawapan yang baru, which is in interval in which that dy by dx is greater than 0 is what? Is this answer? Is x is more than half. Ataupun kamu nak tuliskan dia half to the positive infinity pun boleh. Okay, so this is the answer. This is the interval. This is the answer untuk yang derivative is greater than 0 because we have to do the number line. Draw number line. Okay, we have to do the draw number line. Okay, we have to draw the number line in order to look and understand that when both are greater than 0, atas dan bawah greater than 0, we do the number line and then kita nampak sesuatu persamaan di situ, pertembungan di situ, and so that is the answer. Everything is going to the right from half, from nombor 1/2 going to the right, and so this is the interval of them both. Okay, and then kita kena ingat kita ada lagi satu. We have another one which is less than 0. So we must find another one which is less than 0. okay, which is less than 0, which is -3. Yang bawah ni tak boleh ubah lah. Yang bawah ni memang kita dah ada jawapan dia tadi. We already I do not know how to explain this question. It's quite difficult untuk explain. But have a look first. Okay. Kat sini memang you dah faham. So in the middle here is -5/4. Okay, you know that initial things that we have. Jawapan domain, kita dah ada domain. We already have the domain. Okay, we already have the domain. And the domain must be more than 0 disebabkan square root, apa-apa yang di dalam square root mesti, apa-apa yang di dalam square root, because this is square root, right? Apa-apa yang di dalam square root, it must be more than 0. Sebab itulah saya menggunakan interval yang sama. The meaning of the interval yang sama adalah yang ini. Ini tadi jawapan kita. Why do I take this initially? Miss, kenapa Miss ambil more than 0 confidently? Kenapa Miss dengan yakinnya ambil more than 0 kan? Actually saya tak tunjuk ni pun tak apa. If I don't show you this thing, you tak tulis pun tak apa, because you know that di dalam di dalam square root it must be positive. It must be positive. That's why I use positive untuk cari domain. Padahal saya duk kata tadi chapter 5, do you remember chapter 5 in my video for square root function? Now I can recall it. Square root function. For the square root function here, for the square root function, do you remember whatever inside here, it must be more than or equal to 0. Dia mesti positif di dalam square root. Sebab itulah di dalam ni, pada permulaan untuk cari domain di dalam ni, okay, anything lah, let's say this is x must be more than or equal to 0. Okay, kita tak letak equal sebab soalan ni tak ada equal. Soalan ni memang more than sahaja. So the domain here is everything must be more than 0 because of, again I repeat, because of the square root function. That is the reason, because of the square root function. Now I can totally remember. Okay, and that's why yang ini masih kekal more than 0. This is still kekal more than 0 because we already have the domain, which is the domain just now is -3 to the left. Yeah, and also 1/2 to the right. We already have this domain initially, right? Initially we already got it. But now when this is going to the left, apabila dia pergi ke kiri, apabila dia less than 0, bermaksud x will be less than -5/4, meaning this will be going to the left instead of going to the right tadi. Okay, tadi going to the right, betul tak? Sebab dia more than 0, and now we are going to the left. We are going to the left because soalan yang kata find dy by dx less than 0 pula. Dia yang kata macam tu kan. So now we have to take account yang atas ni, numerator yang less than 0 because of this. Because of less than 0 yang ini. Kalau yang ni more than 0, ya atas ni kena more than 0. That's all. So now we have an intersection here saying that, I've got new interval. Which is the interval in which dy by dx is less than 0 is x is less than -3. That's all. This is the answer. Maybe I should change this into red color. Let me change that. Yes, it's okay. So this is your answer. Ni saya apa? Saya buat garisan ya. This is your answer. This two is your answer. I mean, because they are trying to ask an interval, a new interval for this condition. And this is the answer for this one. When the dy dx is less than 0. Okay? Boleh follow ke? Do you understand why must we apply the number line here? Do you understand why? Boleh follow ke? Boleh faham ke kenapa bawah ni Miss ambil mesti yang bawah ni. Yang bawah ni mestilah. Yang bawah ni mesti more than 0. You do understand that, right? Because this is the domain. The domain cannot be changed. The domain cannot be changed, meaning it remains the same. Tak kisahlah. It remains the same here. Because they are the same domain. Okay, yang berbeza dekat sini adalah negative 5/4 to the right. Okay, untuk condition yang ini. Dan juga negative 5/4 to the left. Itu je yang membezakan dia. So, bila dia beza, interval pun berbezalah. And therefore, these are the two new intervals here. Boleh follow ke semua orang? I'm so sorry that you are a little bit confused, but I have explained to you all that that this must be more than 0 sahaja. Because of what? Because of square root function. Square root function di dalam square root mestilah more than 0 sahaja. That's all. That's the thing here. Is it okay, everybody? Can I have some response there? Okay ke semua orang? Can I proceed now? Are you all okay? Kenapa senyap je? Okay, I'm going to proceed. Yo, you need some time to figure it out. Masih menghadam. Okay. Okay. Yes. Ini tahun 2008-2009, so it's a bit sometimes it's a bit out of the syllabus. That's why you never look at this kind. Tapi it's not bad to learn. Tak salah pun untuk kita belajar. Okay? And it's okay, at least you have some input. Okay? We should go to the 35 now, because I'm so sorry I cannot explain further, right? Okay, sempat ke ya? Risau saya. Okay. Sekarang ni, jom kita cari the value of A and B. This is actually chapter 8. Okay. when fx is continuous and they have three continuous, dia yang kata fx function is continuous at x is equals to 0 and x is equals to 1. Okay, dia yang cakap. Dia tak cakap pun specifically, but we do understand it when they say that this is continuous and both of the numbers, they are continuous then. Okay, so now maybe I should draw the number line first. Okay, one is going to the left, one is going to the right. Yang mana yang dense circle? Over here is dense circle. Another one is going to the right. Okay, so these are the function ex plus a x squared minus 2x plus 3, and here is x plus b. Okay, untuk soalan A, kita boleh cari existence of limit by using the second condition. By using the second condition of continuity, kita boleh cari limit from the left is equal to the limit from the right. So the limit from the left untuk nombor kosong lah, kita mula dari kosong. 0 from the left. We are going to start from 0 from the left, which is, this is the function that 0 from the left, which is e to the power of x plus a, is equals to the limit as x approaches 0 from the right. So this is the 0 from the right punya function, iaitu 2x, it's x squared minus 2x plus 3. And so you sub in the value, you will get 3 here. Tulis lah 0 squared minus 2 times 0 plus 3. And so here is 1 plus a is equals to 3. And therefore your a is equals to 2. So you are successfully finding the value of a. Dan juga lagi satu, nak cari value of b, we gotta find 1 from the left and 1 from the right. Kita kena cari limit as x approaches 1 from the left and the limit as x approaches 1 from the right. So 1 from the left, the functions that we should look at is x squared minus 2x plus 3 is equals to the limit as x approaches 1 from the right. So function dia adalah x plus b. Okay, and so 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 3 is equals to x plus b, which is 1 plus b lah. 1 plus b. So here is 1 minus 2 negative 2. 1 plus 3. 2 is equals to 1. Therefore, your b is 1 and your a is 2. So that's the value of a and b. Okay. So now yang b ni saya akan skip because soalan ni b ni saya skip because this is in need of drawing the graph and actually how do I say this? Nak kata dalam syllabus pun tidak. The minimum value is, you can draw the graph. I want you to discover it yourself by drawing it. I'm sorry, I want to do question C. Saya untuk soalan 35 ni, saya nak lebih fokus kepada soalan A and soalan C. So is the function f(x) differentiable? Justify your answer by using the first principle. Yeah. Maybe I should make this a little bit small. So by using the first derivative, by using the first derivative, by using the first principle of differentiation, okay, we are going to find whether is f(x) differentiable. If f is the function f(x) is differentiable at x is equals to 0 and x is equals to 1. Nah, ini adalah pertanyaan tau. Pertanyaan pada soalan di mana kita perlu cari kedua-dua differentiable. Kedua-dua bahagian ni kita perlu cari sama ada differentiable at x is equals to 0 ataupun x is equals to 1. Mana satu yang mereka differentiable. So macam mana nak tahu dia differentiable? Kita kena tahu does fx does the limit exist or not? Does limit exist or not? So actually untuk differentiable ni, by using the first principle of differentiation, dia melibatkan of course lah formula first principle of differentiation pun dah ada limit kan. The formula is f prime x is equals to, let me write down, limit as x approaches a of the function fx minus fa over x minus a. So you are very familiar with this, right? This formula should be applied apabila dia tanya differentiable ataupun tidak. Hanya formula ni sahaja yang kamu perlu applykan dia. Okay, you need this formula untuk masukkan ke dalam nombor 0 from the left and from the right, and also x approaches 1 from the right and also from the left. Okay, so it's a lot of work over here. So we will begin with the limit as x approaches 0 from the left. So you gotta write the formula. As I said, tulis dulu formula. You kena hafal lah formula ni. Saya tak boleh bantulah. Saya tak mampu bantu kalau kamu tak cuba untuk bantu diri kamu sendiri untuk hafal formula ni. So limit as x approaches. I don't want to write it down. I should duplicate it. Just duplicate lah banyak-banyak. Senang kan? So I'm going to pick the function yang tepat daripada kiri. To pick the functions yang tepat dari kiri adalah 0 from the left is ex plus 2. Our a right now is 2. So ex plus 2. So ex plus 2 minuskan f0. So f0 yang ada equal dekat sini adalah f0 yang x squared. Di mana inilah function yang kita kena pakai. So we know that f0 is just 3 based on this. Based on this, we must look at the equal sign. Dekat sini lah function yang tepat kita perlu pakai. And so our f0 is 3. Divided everything by x minus 0. And so we can simplify it. We will get x plus ex minus 1 over x minus 0. The thing is, kalau kamu dah bersedia untuk masukkan 0, kamu akan dapat E0 minus 1 over 0 minus 0. Kalau macam ni, you akan perasan, oh, this is 0 over 0. Okay, when this is 0, this is 1 minus 1. Therefore, 0 over 0 is indefinite. It is undefined, and so we cannot get an answer 0 over 0. We must have do something here. Actually, kita dapat hint in the question. Hint in the question say that ini kita perlu pakai apa yang dia bagi kita. Apa yang dia bagi dekat sini, we must use it. So we have to sub in the 1 plus x squared over 2. This is the polynomial dia bagi pada kita. Okay. And then minus it with 1 over x. We got to simplify this thing, you know. So when we simplify this, we will get 1 over x times it with x plus x squared over 2. Okay, and then simplify lagi, kita akan dapat, jangan takut untuk simplify, go on, you will get 1 plus x over 2. Dekat sini lah baru apabila you masukkan 0 over 2, you will get 0. And so here is your answer 1. The thing is, I must continue with the right hand side. I must find the 0 from the right hand side pula. So I'm going to duplicate everything here. Saya tulis banyak-banyak, senang. Okay. So now, untuk 0 from the right, we must be very careful. 0 from the right, choose the correct function, which is x squared minus 2x plus 3. So choose the correct function, x squared minus 2x plus 3, minus it with 3. Yang ini mesti sama lah. Yang ini saya terus nampak dia adalah sama because we are still talking about 0. Right? We are still talking about 0, so it should be the same. And then divide everything with x. And so you cut it, you will get x times x minus 2 divided by 2. Everything here is divided by 2. By x lah. Sorry. Cut. Dapatlah x minus 2 sahaja. And so you sub in the value, you will get negative 2. So you will see that both of these values are not the same. Limit from the left and the limit from the right has got different values. Okay, bila value dia berbeza, bermaksud limit does not exist. Okay, therefore you just have to write it down. Therefore the limit of the function fx minus f0, everything is divided by x minus 0. Aku kena tulis macam ni. as what? As x approaches 0 lah. As x approaches 0 from the left and from the right, tak perlu tulis sebab this is general already. This is general form. So general form, no need to write positive or negative sign already, because kalau tak tulis bermaksud dia adalah untuk dua-dua. So you know that they are not equal, therefore the general form here untuk limit does not exist. The limit does not exist, therefore fx is not differentiable. Dia tidak boleh didifferentiate. So fx is not differentiable at x is equals to 0. That's the first answer. Okay, that's the first dia yang tanya pada kita kan, whether it's differentiable or not. So we have proved to them that having different values of the limit means limit does not exist. So kalau limit does not exist, bermaksud dia tidak differentiable dekat point tersebut. Okay, and I don't have enough time to show you x is equals to 1, but I can give you the answer that ni juga mempunyai limit di mana the limit does not exist, and therefore let me duplicate this. Okay, you DIY buat sendiri, and this is the answer. Now untuk 1 1 1, okay, untuk answer yang ini dia juga adalah does not exist, therefore fx is not differentiable at x is equals to 1 also. Both of them are not differentiable, both points, because the limit does not exist. The limit does not exist as x approaches 1 from the right and also x approaches 1 from the left. Kena cari sendiri nilai dia, kamu proofkan pada diri kamu sendiri whether betul tak apa Miss cakap ni. Both values are not the same, therefore the limit does not exist. Okay, I need you all to write it neatly and precisely lah. Jangan tinggal limit begini, jangan suka hati tinggal limit. You must practice yourself, tulis balik. Okay, walaupun kita punya exam adalah objektif and you feel like tak perlu hantar solutions, do you think that you can ignore it, all of this? Okay, jangan fikir you boleh ignore all of this, okay? You must not have that kind of thinking at all, sebab kamu ada semester 2. Ni saya baru cakap pasal semester 2. Kamu tak masuk universiti lagi. Okay. When you go to the university, you still have to write all of these things. Believe me, you will not get rid of this if you are still in science stream. You know that? Apa pun course yang kamu buat, majority akan ada maths. Okay, so all of these things you should learn and appreciate it from now onwards. Bukannya rasa exam tak keluar, exam tak tunjuk solution, aku tak payahlah, aku lepas tangan je lah cara kerja aku buat cincai boncai je lah, suka-suka hati aku lah apa aku nak buat. No, that's not how you deal with your work. You must be responsible with your work, and also your working here must be precise and neat. Okay, please, saya mohon pada semua student saya, jalan kerja mesti terurus dan tepat. Macam mana kamu dah dari awal dengan saya, your work is quite good. Okay, your solution is step by step. You dah biasa dengan saya macam tu kan? So you should be responsible for all of the maths work yang ada working steps. Jangan abaikan working steps tu, walaupun you think it's time consuming. Time consuming tu kamu sendiri yang decide. You nak buat secara smart or you you want to do it in a long way, it's up to you actually. You kena bijak dalam exam, you know you don't have time. So you have to have you have to have smart. You have to be smart on what you should write and what you shouldn't write. You understand me? Ada benda yang tak perlu tulis, tak payah tulis. Jangan extra rajin untuk buat kalau tak perlu tulis. Tulis yang penting yang kamu rasa, oh ini pemeriksa suka, ini markah suka. Biasakan dari sekarang. Sebab you might know, you will encounter semester 2 yang mungkin PSPM yang subjektif. Okay? Kalau you tak biasa dari sekarang, you tak biasa buat solution dari sekarang secara kemas, dan untuk maksud saya secara kemas dan untuk mendapat full marks, you tak biasa, you memang akan ada masalah lah nanti. Bukan pada SEM 2 je, pada universiti pun sama. So you better not skip the working. Okay, even though you know it's just an objective question, it's nothing to worry about. Just pick 1, pick 2, pick 3. Macam tu je. You will be fail. You will fail confidently. You will fail if you just pick and happy like that. I'm so sorry to say this because I want you to write down your solutions no matter what. Understand me? I'm going to go to 41 now. So recall formula, the first principle of differentiation. Okay, so f prime x is equals to limit as x approaches a number for the function fx minus fa over x minus a. Okay, so this is the formula, you know it already. So now we are going to find this thing. So as the limit of the function fx minus f1 divided by the square root of x minus 1 as x approaches 1 is equals to the limit as x approaches 1, masih sama, the limit all these things jangan abaikan. Jangan abaikan. Okay? In exams, it shouldn't be. You know, saya dah bertahun-tahun tak pernah ada objective questions. Saya tak salahkan pun dengan objective question tu. Cumanya, it's really worrying lah. It's very worrying. That's all I can say. Okay? Kalau rasa kamu suntuk untuk menulis, tak perlulah tulis. Okay? Sebab tak perlu hantar solution kan? Let's say. Tapi kalau kamu sempat, why not just try and write it down? Okay, now what you have to do is you see square root. Bila you see square root, it means something there. Square root means masukkan, if you masukkan square root of 1 minus 1, you will see this is 0. So you can imagine atas ni 0, bawah pun 0. So this is sort of like 0 over 0 punya case. 0 over 0 punya case ada dua cara. It's like multiply by its conjugate ataupun factorization. Yes, we have these two methods. So in this case, kita ada square root, bermaksud kita kena apply kena apply, what is it? Multiply by its conjugate. Therefore, this is it. So yang atas ni jangan takut, salin sahaja. So now is where the multiply by its conjugate started. Okay, might multiply by its conjugate now. So the limit as x approaches 1. So yang bawah ni you tahu apa akan jadi. Yang bawah ni memang akan hilang square root. You know that is what is going to happen. So therefore x minus 1 is what you get at the denominator. Manakala yang atas ni tak perlu buat apa-apa. Just leave it like that. Duplicate it and don't disturb it. Just leave it like that. Don't disturb it. Just leave it like that, okay? So maybe I need some more space here. I want to write another bracket here untuk bagi nampak, tapi can you see these things? Okay. You will feel that oh, aku hampir dapat bentuk formula, you know. I almost got this, which is, if you look closely, if you look carefully, this is the bentuk. You have fx in the formula, you have fx. You also have f1 in the formula. Here is f, a constant. Here is a constant. This is a value of 1. So f1 is correct. Bawah ni pula mestilah yang tak ada square root, dan dia mesti tolak x minus a. So x minus 1. It's just beautiful over there. So fx minus f1, everything will be divided by x minus 1. Yang belakang ni tinggal copy sahaja dan letak luar. Okay. And so you know that everything here is actually equals to the f prime 1. That is the formula, right? This limit, whole thing here, is actually equals to the f prime 1, whereby you are given in the question. So what you have to do is just use it. Okay, but first of all, write it down. So f prime 1 times it with your square root of limit. Tapi kamu tak boleh direct macam tu. If not, how do you know what's your value of x? You do not know. You will be very clueless what to put in the value of x. Remember, this is having a limit still. What I did here is wrong. Saya tak boleh terus macam ni. Saya kena faham di mana kita ada limit. See, when you understand that you have to write down the limit, you know that this is actually having a properties. Dia properties darab. Okay, properties darab, kita boleh ada dua jenis limit. Kita boleh darab dua limit, and then kita tahu dia darab, di unsur darab. And so this is the concept of the properties of limit. If you remember, this is the basic properties of limit. So the basic properties of limit says that we can divide them into two limits, separate them into two limits, and therefore yang ini sepatutnya ada lim. Sepatutnya ada lim as x approaches 1. You know, sebab itulah kalau kita tinggal mana-mana steps, kita might hilang sesuatu info. Macam itulah, we might be very blur after that. That's all. And so we just sub in the value of 2 here. It's given to us. This is the value of 2. And so dekat sini bolehlah you masukkan nilai 1 ke dalam function dia. Okay, you masukkan and you will get 1 times 1 plus 1, which is 2 lah kan. So 2 times 2 is 4 and your value is 4. You have successfully found your answer and you will get 6 marks full. In subjective questions, of course, 6 marks. Okay, so tolong doa lah banyak-banyak yang kamu punya exam online ni tidak susah. Okay, I believe untuk objective questions, untuk mathematics, sangatlah challenging lagi daripada subjective. Subjective, you can write it down, whatever you nak hentam, nak pedal, you hentam lah. You boleh cuba dan you akan dapat markah. Tapi kalau objective questions, it is not easy to get correct answer. Kalau salah jawapan A, salah lah A. And you think it's easy to get 15 out of 30 pun, you gotta get ready for that, you know. You have to do as many exercises as you can. You have to write down, practice untuk tulis dengan laju. You know, you gotta practice tulis laju dan laju. Macam mana nak buat semua tu? Hanya dengan menulis je lah. Macam mana nak dapatkan confident tu? Hanya dengan menulis sahaja kamu boleh capai confident tersebut. Boleh capai confident yang, oh, I can do this. Bukan confident yang overconfident, tidak. Confidence yang, oh, I know, I think I can write maths quickly. Itu yang goal kamu sekarang ni. You have all of the knowledge already. But what makes you different from other people is how much you write mathematics, how much you practice. Dalam soalan, dulu saya practice satu soalan macam ni, saya buat 5 kali, you know. Do you imagine that? 5 times is the least lah I do. I do 5 times just because to make myself remember and feel confidence about this concept. You bayangkan satu soalan pun saya dah buat berkali-kali untuk ulang, you know, ulang dan ulang lagi. Apatah lagi yang berpuluh-puluh, beratus-ratus soalan yang saya buat just to get my confidence. You know, so I'm expecting you all to know at least you tak mampu buat 5 kali satu soalan, you buatlah 3 kali. You ulang soalan yang sama, you know. You keep on doing, even though it's the same question. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be rasa macam buang masa lah, macam tak guna je. No, it's not like that. In mathematics, you have to write down more. The more you write, the more the good memory that you have about the concept. Maths concept bukan takat baca, dia kena apply. You do know that already, right? All you have to do is just write it down. That's all. You have to write it down. Okay? So now we go to the question 49. Implicit differentiation. Okay, ingat pesan saya, satu soalan buatlah 3 kali sekurang-kurangnya untuk menghafal. Itu cara nak hafal mathematics, bukan baca. You want to read it, you go read biology, you go read any books. That is where you can read. Okay, you cannot just write, right? But maths is about keep on writing and fighting in the battle of the paper here. Okay. So 49 here. 3y squared minus xy plus x squared equals to 3. So by using the implicit function, bermaksud kita kena differentiate setiap satu term. Yeah, this is what we are going to do. So 3y squared, x squared, and 3 over here. So now remember, this is what do we call it? Kalau it's very weird to have y squared ataupun xy. It's a bit weird, and we call this weird y is as an implicit function. Contoh-contoh implicit function adalah x dan y bersebelahan, lagi y cube ataupun square root of y, ataupun y yang pelik lah, y squared, something unusual. So something unusual is where we call it an implicit function. Lagi-lagi yang y squared, yang x y begini, yang y tu bukan sekadar y, tetapi dia ada partner dia. Okay, dia ada beberapa partner yang bukan single y. That's all. So this is all what we call as implicit function. So you have to remember, dalam video saya, magic dia macam ni, 6y to the power of 1 times it with dy by dx, times it with dy by dx. This is the concept of implicit function. Okay, implicit function mesti make sure you faham, you kena apply power rule. You have to apply power rule here ataupun chain rule. So macam mana nak bagi nampak power rule? You just do the normal formula of the power rule. Y squared. Okay, you know that the power should bring down. You will get 6, right? Then the y copy back, and then power will 2 minus 1. But times, do you remember, di belakang ni perlu didarabkan dengan d dx, mesti differentiatekan dengan function yang di dalam bracket. So function yang di dalam bracket adalah y. Therefore, you will get 6y dy by dx. That's it. This is how dy by dx coming from. The dy by dx is magic. It is coming from inside of the bracket here. Okay, differentiate inside of the bracket here will give you d dx y. Okay, differentiate dalam kurungan tadi, and you will get y. So I don't have to explain again lah. Okay, I'm just going to delete this. So you understand that every time you see every time when you see pelik-pelik punya y, okay, a very unusual punya y, so it must have dy dx. Dia mesti ada partner dia. Dia mesti ada derivative-nya. Whenever you have y, you must remember implicit mesti ada dy by dx. Wajib tulis. Wajib ada partner. Okay, wajib ada dy by dx because of the power rule there. So kita tak boleh lah nak bangkang rule, betul-betul. We are going to use the rule, that's all. Okay, so then minus it with let u and let v. This is product rule. You have to apply the product rule, and you remember that product rule is vu prime plus u v prime. So you put a big bracket there. Your v is y, your u is 1, u prime is 1, plus u, and then times it with v prime. V prime is dy by dx. V prime adalah Y. Differentiate V, differentiate Y, dy by dx lah. Senang kan? And then equal it to 0. Equal it to 0. And so, what do you get? You will get 6y dy by dx minus y minus x dy by dx is equal to 0. Oh, saya tertinggal. Did I? Yeah, I did. Saya tertinggal apa? Saya tertinggal sesuatu term dekat sini plus 2x. No wonder it looks very short. Okay, now I'm about to factorize here. So 6y minus x is equals to y minus 2x. Therefore, my dy by dx is eventually y minus 2x divided by 6y minus x. That's it. That's my first derivative. Tapi dia kata kena cari at x is equals to 1. So, at x is equals to 1. When x is equals to 1, what is your value of y? Duplicate. Kamu mesti faham bahawa kita dah ada, what do we have? We have x is equals to 1. But do we have y? But do we have the value of y? So we don't. How to find the value of y is just sub in the value of x here. Okay, masukkan nilai x ini kepada nilai 1. Barulah dapat nilai y. So 3y squared minus 1 times y plus 1 squared is equals to 3. Therefore, we will get 3y squared minus y minus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, we know that we have two values of y. Okay, our value of y is negative 2 over 3 and or y is equals to 1. Yeah, we have two values of y. Di mana kedua-dua ni tidak boleh diabaikan. Kenalah pakai. So when x is equals to 1 and y is equals to 1, what is your dy by dx? Your dy by dx is equals to 1 minus 2 times 1 over 6 times 1 minus 1. Maka jawapan dia, nanti cari sendiri. Dan yang ni pula, duplicate when x is equals to 1 and your y is equals to what? Your y now is equals to negative 2 over 3. Your y now is equals to 2 over 3, negative 2 over 3. Yalah, ada dua jenis y kan, so kena cari dua-dua lah. And so you write it down nicely. 1 minus 2 times negative 2 over 3 over 6 over 6. Y kamu apa tadi? Your y is, oh, so sorry, this is a bit wrong, so sorry, kena hati-hati. Negative 2 over 3 minus 2 times 1, 6 times negative 2 over 3 minus 1. Okay, dekat sini kan saya nak ajar sedikit lah macam mana nak apply guna calculator. Nak apply guna calculator yang ada huruf X dan huruf Y, you know. So what I want to show you right now is I want to write the formula. I will write it, the function. I will write down the derivative dalam ni. Okay, di dalam calculator ni, dalam unsur Y dan unsur X. So this is how I show you. Alpha Y minus 2 alpha X. Okay, everything here divided by 6Y minus X. Okay. Okay, saya tulis dulu dia punya function and then I press calculate. So, dekat sini dia keluar Y is equals to what, right? So, you tekanlah 1 and equal. Your X is also 1 equal. So, you dapat jawapan negative 2 over 10. So, you write it down. So, negative 2 over 10 iaitu negative 1 over 5 lah. So, that's your answer. Itu adalah cara cepat sebab kita ada lagi nilai X dan Y yang berbeza. Betul tak? Jadi better lah kita tekan je calculate. Dah ada function kan? Tekan je calculate. Calculate. Alamak, dia stuck lah. Dia stuck pula. Astaghfirullah. Come on, not now. I have to. Baru nak tunjuk dengan kemas tadi. Okay, now dia okay. Tekan calculate. Tekan Y is negative 2 over 3. Okay. And then tekan lagi equal. Dia keluar X pula kan. Tekan 1 and then equal. See, you got a value there. And you want... you see, you can tukarkan decimal tadi menjadi fraction. So, 8 over 15 is your answer. So, you write it down here. 8 over 15. So, kalau you tulis dalam calculator, dalam unsur X dan Y, you lagi senang nak dapat jawapan. Tak payah nak tekan calculator banyak kali. Betul tak? And you know, tak payah nak masukkan setiap nombor. Okay, masukkan banyak nombor dalam calculator. It could give you a lot of careless mistakes as well. Right? So untuk elakkan careless mistakes, better lah kita buat unsur X dan Y di dalam calculator and then just tekan calculate. Calculate di sini di bawah shift. Okay, di bawah shift di sini. Itu je. So that's all I want to teach you guys about this part. So sekarang ni saya kena tambah paper. At pages is where I need to do to show you how to find the second derivative. I need to show you how do I find the second derivative. So in order to find the second derivative, tak payah buat satu demi satu. Actually, this thing here is going to help you. Okay, you kena ambil sebelum jawapan ni. Okay, you jangan ambil yang dy dx sebagai subject and you want to do, quotient rule let v. Yeah, up to you if you want to do that. You can go on with that, but I don't want to do that long version. I will do the short version. To find, what is this? This is to find the second derivative. So our aim right now is to find the second derivative, di mana saya perlu let u dan let v dan apply product rule. Daripada buat quotient, I love product rule the most. And so I'll have vu prime plus uv prime. Okay, it's much more easier and less careless mistakes. And so here I'll show you that 6y minus x is my v. My u prime is d2y dx2, d2y dx2. The second derivative of the u, right? Ni lah. Sebab u ni dah first derivative. So kalau dia differentiate, dia jadi second derivative lah. Kan? And then plus plus it with u. Your u right now is dy dx. And now your v prime is 6 dy by dx. Oh, miss, ada dy by dx lagi? Yeah, exactly. Mana datang ni? This is the power rule ataupun chain rule, di mana bila kita differentiate dia, this is power 1. Okay, when this is power 1, bring down times 6, there is still 6. Okay, 6 and then you copy y, right? 6 copy y and then 1 minus 1 is 0 sebab itulah dah hilang. Y 0, y to the power of 0 is 1. You know that. And then times it with derivative of inside of the bracket. Nah, itulah datangnya dy by dx di sini. Nah, sebab itulah ada dy by dx because of the power rule. Implicit memang begini. Implicit function memang bukan 6 sahaja. Sebab dia ada y ni. Y is a different thing. Okay. Then minus 1 is equals to dy by dx minus 2. Differentiate each of this. Differentiate both sides. Okay. What we are going to do is differentiate both sides. Nah, itu je yang kita tengah buat sekarang ni. And so 6y minus x d2y dx2 plus 6 dy by dx. So yang ni dia jadi squared. Yang belakang ni darab masuk je. You will get dy by dx is equal to, yeah, I'll just copy back. What I did here is just expand it. Saya expand saja. Sebab tu saya dapat bracket squared. So duplicate lah lagi sekali and I minus dy by dx plus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, we can solve this. Dia akan jadi negative 2 dy by dx. Yang lain ni copy saja. Yang belakang ni tulislah. Plus 2 is equals to 0. So, is it the same now? Do we get what we have to prove? Yes, it is proven. So it is shown. You have to show, right? So we put shown. Show that. So I have proved to you all that I am directly got the second derivative from here. From here. Starts from here. Understand? Boleh faham ke? So, second derivative ni tak semestinya nak kena jadikan dy dx sebagai subject and then you cari second derivative function. Boleh, tapi dia agak panjang. Dia agak panjang kan? So, I start from here. You can start here. Start here to find the second derivative. Yeah, you can do that to find the second derivative, and yeah, you let u and you let v, and so this is what you get. Just use the product rule and differentiate both sides. That's all, and you will get straight away the answer over here. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Oh, ada 49B pula. So 49B, perlu ke saya bincang 49B? I think 49B is not that hard, is it? Okay, dekat sini saya perlu kamu pilih lah salah satu sahaja, 49B or 52. I need you all to choose because I'm so sorry I don't have enough time. Okay, to write it down. It's time. We don't have time until 4, right? So 49 or 52. You choose. You tell me now. Do you want me to explain to teach you 52 or 49? B, because both of them are just quite the same. Mm, both of them are quite the same. Tell me, what do you want? Is it 49B ataupun 52? I need your response, everybody. 52. Okay, I'll go with 52. Thank you. Is it only Eva? It's only Eva always. Sometimes I'm quite you know, I'll need all of you. I have 84 students. Right. It doesn't I'm just asking questions. I'm not you know, 52 ya. Let's just go on with 52. Sebab 52 lah yang paling most vote among all of you. So now, let's begin with having two two function here. X is equals to ln 1 plus t. Another one is y is equals to e t squared, where t is more than -1. Okay, dia yang cakap, tak apalah, tak payah tulis lah. Just have to remember it here. So now we know untuk cari dy by dx, we know what? We know the formula is chain rule, dy times dx di bawah. Therefore, we have dt because parametric mestilah parameter dia berlainan daripada x dan y lah. Okay, so we have to have t over here. Kena ada dt. That's why dx, differentiate x with respect to t. Itulah cara penulisan dia. Differentiate y with respect to t. So dy dt. Itu cara baca dan cara tulis. So differentiate ln is 1 over 1 plus t times 1. Mana datang times 1? It is just differentiate t over here. Because this is with respect to t. Okay, with respect to t. That's why differentiate t lah. So differentiate t is just 1. So yang ini pula copy back whatever exponential yang kamu ada, kamu salin je balik, lepas tu darabkan dengan differentiate the power. Okay, that's all. Differentiate the power. So you got 2t squared. And so here is 2t squared. 2t squared exponent t squared. Yang ini masih 1 over 1 plus t lah. And so you are going to use this formula. That's why you will get, I don't want to write it, I'll just copy it, just duplicate it, and then times it with dt dx. Dt dx perlu diterbalikkan, and so I've got here 1 plus t sahaja. 1 plus t. And so my answer is 2t squared et squared times 1 plus t. Just write it together. Write it without the cross sign over here. here. Just you know that this is time, so put it close together. That's all. So you got the first derivative. Now the second derivative here. Do you remember the formula untuk second derivative? Remember the second formula here. The second formula here mestilah dt dt. Mesti ada dt dt tau. Okay, you must write this rangka dulu. Yang ada dt dt. You know that they can cancel out, but you don't have to cancel out. You don't have to do that, right? You just write it down. You just write it down because that's the formula. And so you know here will become dx. Yang ini akan dari the first derivative kamu. Okay, this is the first derivative kamu. Yang penting dia kena differentiate with respect to t. That's all. Because your answer of the first derivative adalah in terms of t. Right? Everything here is in terms of t. That's why you gotta differentiate with respect to t as well. Okay, so tapi jangan lupa dekat sini ramailah di antara kita semua, I am very honest here, saya juga sering lupa untuk darab. I think you should do that VVIP kot, sebab saya pun dah lupa, apatah lagi kita semua. Alright, so, sering untuk lupa darab dt dx. So dt dx is just 1 plus t. Kalau kamu tak darab 1 plus t at the back here, you know, you akan buat depan je. Many of us memang sentiasa ingat formula untuk second derivative depan ni je. Padahal formula dia adalah semua. This is the second derivative formula for parametric differentiation. Many of us always forgot 2 times the back here, 2 times dt dx. Tolong alert. Sebab itulah mungkin soalan 49 tadi kamu tak boleh jawab sebab kamu tak darabkan second derivative ada dt dx. Because the first times I did that, I also forgot. I totally forgot because you know, biasa kan kita buat yang depan je, mana ada kita darabkan yang belakang ni. So this is actually chain rule. That's all that you have to need to know. This is just coming from the chain rule. That's why the formula perlu ada dt and dx over here. Dt by dx here perlu ada. So now what we do is dt differentiate it times it with dt dx. Saya copy je ya. Saya just duplicate this. Don't forget your dt dx. Don't you dare forget about that because just write it down. This is VVIP. Just because many of us always forget. That's all. And so when I say it's VVIP, means you have to be extra careful and remember. So now is where we have to times it in. Saya sebenarnya boleh je kalau saya nak direct apply product rule. Yeah, I can let you let me kan, boleh je. Tapi nanti confusing sebab kat sini ada 2 function yang berbeza. This is quadratic, this is exponent. So this is another product rule inside of the product rule. Boleh je kalau nak buat. Kalau dah buat, okay, tak apa, tak ada masalah. But what I want to do right here is I will do a bit different lah. 2t squared et squared plus 2t cubed et squared. Saya memang sengaja asingkan dia. Kenapa saya asingkan dia? Sebab saya nak buat asing. Saya nak buat asing bermaksud this is let u, let v and that you let me. I mean, there are two product rules that I want to do separately. You understand? I just want to do them separately. That's why I expand it. That's all. There is nothing. There is nothing difficult here. So what I want to do right here is let you let V. Let you let V. Yang ini pun sama lah. Let you let V. Tapi tak perlulah tulis. You boleh terus tulis jawapan. Okay. Terus tulis jawapan. First bracket. Okay, write down the first bracket untuk the first product rule lah. So ET squared times 4T times 4 hang on guys. You know I did wrong from the beginning. Why are you keep quiet? Why are you keep quiet? This is wrong. You should tell me something about here. Why are you all keep quiet? You should tell me at the beginning. Kamu sedar tak ni? Kamu sedar tak saya tengah buat salah? This should not be squared. This is 2 minus 1, which is only 1. This is wrong. Do you know that, guys? Are you with me? This is typo. This is totally wrong. Therefore, this is 1. Oh my god. Kenapalah kamu senyap je dari tadi? All of this is wrong. This is power 1. Everything here is power 1. Kalau lah saya buat tadi, memang sampai habis lah salah. Tak perasan. But some of you might. Some of you might have done this, right? Okay. Okay, please correct me if this is important. Correct me from the beginning. Jangan biarkan Miss cakap seorang-seorang, shock sendiri seorang-seorang dekat sini. I'm already shock sendiri dekat sini seorang-seorang. Okay, so please be kind in telling me where I did mistakes from the beginning. Can you do that, please? So everything here must be times it with atas ni. Saya tak cukup ruang. Sorry ya. Buat macam ni lah. Lagi senang. Okay, there are two product rules. Here is product rule 1. product rule juga. Okay, product rule 2. So there are 2 product rule. So you are going to just expand this. Yang duplicate dia. And then apa-apa yang sama, you boleh bawa keluar. So ET squared, you boleh factorize out, and you can also factorize the number 2 out. And so you'll get 1 plus 4t squared, 2t squared plus 2t plus 2t. Hang on a minute, it's confusing. And therefore your final answer is just this, and 2t cubed plus 2t squared plus 2t plus 1. Then times it with 1 plus t. Done. That's all. So 1 plus t ni mungkin kamu sering tertinggal lah, because of this is coming from dt dx yang tadi tu, yang saya dah explain panjang lebar, yang I said this is VVIP. You know, the concept is very, very important here. The formula of the implicit is very, very different and a bit challenging from the basic differentiation. So I really hope you can find this answer. And final one from me, which is answering the question B. Dia yang mencari determine the nature of point. So here is asking for nature of the point, right? Dia yang minta kat sini. So actually this is chapter 10. This is actually chapter 10. Tapi saya boleh ajar sebab dia tidak panjang. So I'll give you some heads up. So here will be some heads up for chapter 10. Welcome to chapter 10 for a bit. So dia minta kita show that this curve has an extremum, relative extremum. So please understand, when you see the word relative extremum ataupun extremum, both of these are telling you to find minimum and maximum, to find or to prove. It's according to the question masing-masing lah. Yang penting dia tengah nak cari minimum dan maximum point to show that this 0 and 1, is it a max point or a min point? In this case dia dah kata pun yang ini is 0 and 1. This point is this point minimum point. Is this point minimum point? Itu je soalan dia. Show that has only one alamak, saya macam dah bagi jawapan je kan. One extremum point. Okay. Saya macam dah bagi jawapan je kan. But yeah, do understand that the relative extremum bermaksud kita nak prove sama ada point ini adalah minimum point ataupun maximum point. That's it. Okay, kita just nak provekan sama ada ini adalah point ini betul ke tidak, minimum dan ataupun maximum point. And then the nature of the point here bermaksud, copy lah, boleh copy kot. The nature of the point means stationary point. So step 1 kita akan cari stationary point dahulu. I don't want to do steps here because this is just tutorial questions. So untuk cari stationary point, to find stationary point, to find the stationary point, to find stationary point. Remember ya, the nature of point means the stationary point. Itu maksud the nature of point. Ayat lain dia adalah stationary point. Stationary point bermaksud dy by dx is equals to 0. Okay, do you remember that gradient is equals to dy by dx? Do you remember that? Kenapa kecurunan dipanggil dy by dx? Because apabila kita ada senyum, graf senyum ataupun graf masam, okay, graf senyum juga. Graf senyum mempunyai minimum point. So the minimum point here di mana dia punya kecerunan dia macam mana? Kecerunan dia adalah flat. Bila kecerunan dia flat, bermaksud kecerunan dia tiada. Kecerunan dia tak ada value sebab memang flat. Tak ada kecerunan pun, dia flat. Kalau ada kecerunan, bermaksud dia di sini. Dia di sini. This is kecerunan. Kecerunan yang negatif, kecerunan yang positif. So this is the kecerunan. This is the gradient of the graph. Tetapi masalahnya kalau dia dekat minimum ataupun maximum point, kecerunan dia flat. Bila dia flat bermaksud dia tak ada kecerunan. Bila dia tak ada kecerunan bermaksud equal to 0. That's it. So whenever nak cari nature of the point ataupun stationary point, bayangkan station tu macam train station, bus station. Stop kan? When you stop it's 0. Bayangkan macam tu je lah analogi dia. So what you have to do is just find its derivative. First derivative tadi dah ada. So this is your first derivative and make it equal to 0. That's it. Macam tu je lah. And you know that this all are times, right? So dia akan ada 3 lah. 2t is equal to 0, et squared is equal to 0, and 1 plus t. 1 plus t is equal to 0. So dia ada 3. Dia ada 3 disebabkan mereka adalah unsur darab. Okay, you can make everything here is equal to 0. Everything here is equal to 0. Each of this is equal to 0. Make it because there are 3 of them. So tak ada pilihan lah. Melainkan kita tulislah ketiga-tiganya sekali. So we will find out that the first t is equal to 0. The second t, we have to do ln both sides. When we do ln both sides, we will get that ln 0. And ln 0 is undefined. Therefore, the second part here is rejected. Kalau yang ni, t is equals to negative 1. Okay, so dah ada nilai t. So sekarang ni nak cari point kan, stationary point, nama pun point. Kalau dah ada t, when t is equals to 0, we gotta sub into the value of x here. X is equals to ln 1 plus t, and now your t is 0. So use the 0. Okay, so you will get ln 1, which is 0. Tapi ada juga y. Your function y here is e to the power of t squared. So masukkan nilai t ke dalam function y. You will get e0, which is 1. Therefore, the point here shows that 0 and 1. Okay, 0 and 1 is the coordinate. Means the nature of the point lah. Bermaksud, in conclusion, 0 and 1 is the nature point. Is the nature of the point ataupun stationary point. Kita panggil dia. Buat je conclusion and then done. You have found that this is the nature of the point. Cumanya, nature of the point ni perlu dicari sama ada dia minimum. Kalau ada, the word nature here bermaksud extremum. Okay, the nature here means stationary point, betul tak? Stationary point kita dah cari. The nature of the point we have found it. It's just that the nature here, dia nak cari lagi minimum ataupun maximum. Minimum or maximum adalah satu pertanyaan sekarang ni. So macam mana nak prove? Macam mana nak prove that this number is that this is min or max? How do we prove it? It is by using the second derivative test. Itu nanti video minggu depan lah. Video minggu ni lah nanti Miss bagi. Just for now, tulis je lah dulu. By using the second derivative test means we have to find the second derivative, which we already found it. Okay, we already found it, and we just copy this. We have already found it, and what we have to do is when t is equals to 0, your dy d2, your d2y dx2, it means the second derivative, masukkan sajalah value of t tu. So you get 0 here, 0 here, 0 here, plus 1, and then 1 plus 0. And so 1 times 1 is 1, therefore 2. Therefore 2 is your second derivative value apabila t is equal to 0. So when 2 is more than 0, okay, kalau dia positive, 2 is a positive value, right? When 2 is a positive value, this means that we have minimum point. It means that by using the second derivative test, we have proven that when this is positive, that this point is a minimum point. Ini adalah konsep. Saya akan explain further di dalam video nanti. Okay, whenever you have a more than, it should be, the concept is it should be minimum. Kalau dia less than, kalau sini negative 2 less than 0, then that point is maximum point. That is how the concept is. Okay, you don't have to ask more. We'll explain further later. Just so that you know that in conclusion, 0 and 1 is the relative minimum. Tulis je lah sebab kita dah prove kan dia. So second derivative test ni is to prove mean or max. Itu je untuk proving sama ada dia mean or max according to the value of this thing lah. Okay, so now we have proven that the 0 and 1 is the relative minimum point for our question for 52B. So this is the answer. 52B, kita dah proving, kita dah show dah bahawa the curve has only one relative extrema. Actually, kalau mesti kamu curious, Miss, kenapa Miss pakai yang T equal to 0 sahaja? Miss tak nak pakai ni. Cuba kamu pakai, kamu dapat. Saya dah cuba dah, that's why I know. I want you to think, if you use this, will you be able to find X and Y? Tell me now. You discover this yourself. This is your homework. Discover it yourself. I want you to discover it yourself. Okay, you fikir sendiri. You dapat tak nilai X? You dapat tak nilai Y? Kalau you dapat, tunjuk saya. Kalau you tak dapat, maksud betul lah solution kita. We only have one coordinate and this point is just the minimum point. We have proven it successfully. That's all from me. Thank you now. So I'm going to stop the class right now. Is it okay for you all? Is it okay? Can I stop now? You all are still writing, isn't it? Masih menghadam ke? Masih menghadam ke? Can I stop now? I wish you all the best. I'll pray for you all. I'll pray every day. I'll pray for you all. Moga dipermudahkan urusan belajarnya. Moga senang menghafal segala formula, bukan matematik je, tapi biologi, kimia, sains kom, all of it. I pray for you all that you can get a 4 flat this semester. Okay, I'll pray for you all. Remember that. We all are praying for you. You jangan rasa you je yang bersusah payah. Tidak. Kita sama-sama bersusah payah. Sama-sama doakan each other. Okay, remember that. Pray for all of us. Sama-sama belajar. Sama-sama doakan. Sama-sama belajar. Sama-sama berjaya. InsyaAllah. Okay? Alright, I'll see you all. Thank you for now. Bye-bye.